Hey everyone, I'm your astrologer Brittany of Ethereal Astrology, helping you to see the larger story of your life with horoscopes that emphasize the cycles of the moon and the slower moving planets. Today, you're watching your horoscope for the collective for the full moon in the sign of Aries, which occurs on Thursday, October 17th, 2024 at 7:26 a.m. Eastern Time or 4:26 a.m. Pacific Time. Now, what I think is going on here at this full moon in Aries is that we are now feeling more free to do things in life that we want to do that are quicker, easier, shorter, more fun, and more in our best interest, especially after setting some strong boundaries the past few weeks with other people and things that were holding us back. But even though we are feeling more free to do things in life that we want to do, they're going to be in our best interest, we are still really struggling to do those things and are feeling really triggered by them here that's going on. I think this because they're just so new and different and not what we're used to, which is making us very frustrated and upset and agitated here that we're going to have to learn how to overcome. And I think learn how to overcome here by getting more courage up, being more optimistic about our situation here, and being more flexible. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video. If you want to hear more about that, please do stay tuned. Before we hop into it though, I want to do something a little bit different here in this video. And I want to tell you about a new astrology website that I'm partnering with that I absolutely love, that I think you all might love too, called transitcal.com. I've got it here on the screen. Basically what it is a website where you put in your natal chart information, your birth chart information, and it will calculate your personalized transits to your natal chart here that you can then plug into your Google Calendar, Apple Calendar, and Outlook and get anywhere, on your desktop throughout your workday, get notifications on your calendar here, get on your phone. And there's even a web-based calendar that you can look at too. And it's all highly customizable. So the events that this website will give you can be minimal. If you're more advanced like me, don't need all that information, but can also be very detailed with interpretation guides to help you actually interpret your own transits to your natal chart here that's going on, and then write your own interpretation with that information into the event itself, right? Because the events on your calendar, you can obviously edit here. So I think it's super cool, great for beginners, of course, if you're just learning, to help you interpret your own transits to your natal chart, but also too good for people who are maybe more advanced in astrology like me, because it serves as a good reminder, right? Because your calendar can give you reminders of what's coming up throughout your day and what kind of transits or what kind of energy that you might be facing here in order to better prepare for it here or plan your day as well. So I do love it here as well. I've also got a promo code for you for 15% off. It's ethereal15 when you go to transitcal.com. You can get that information down below in the description box. Before we hop into the horoscope though, I did just want to walk you through very briefly how it works, because I think that it's super cool, very beautiful here, and we'll give you more an idea what to expect. So I'm going to do that. I've got the website obviously up here right now on the screen. This is the home page that you'll go to. And once you go to the home page, you can scroll down and see all the calendars that they have available here. There are 3 specific calendars. You can either buy one or you can get them all together in a bundle. I, of course, have all of them here. The first calendar you can get is the one I've mostly focused on so far in this video, which is personalized transits to your natal chart, where you can see what aspects the planets in the current sky are making to your chart here. The next one is the universal events that are just going on in the sky that don't have to do with your natal chart, which is what I talk about here in these videos when I do these for the collective here, that everyone is experiencing on a more grand level. And then the next one here you've got is the moon phase calendar that of course will tell you when and where the moon phases are, and also will connect that back to your natal chart here as well. So you can go ahead and pick one of those here, or pick all 3 that they've got here going on. Then once you pick the ones you want, it's going to take you here to another page where you can put in your birth information. I've already put my birth information in up here. And where you can hook it up to your calendars that it is that you have that's going on. And again, it works with Google Calendar, Apple Calendar, and Outlook too. And then after that, you can customize how you want your calendar to look. You can't see my you can't really see my mouse, but if you look down, you'll see it says title style, description style down there. You can choose Now, I've chosen very, very minimalist when it comes to these things because I don't need a lot of explaining when it comes to astrology. So it's going to give me very short explanations in the event titles of what's going on, a lot of abbreviations and symbols. But if you wanted that to be longer, there's other options that you can have. You can choose a title style where everything's spelled out for you. Mars in Aquarius in the 5th house, square this, here that's going on. And you can also get the descriptions to be a bit longer and more detailed as well. There's also options, as you can see over here with the check marks for the Sabian symbols, if you want that to appear to give you more to think about throughout your as you're browsing your calendar here, the natal house, and then the interpretation guide, which can be very good for some of you. That's been created to help you put the meanings together yourself. So you can toggle those things on and off, all right, to make it extra customizable here about what you do and don't want. That's going on, and you can do that for all of the calendars here. And I've made the calendars different. So here in this top calendar, we've got the Sabian symbols, the natal house, and then here on the bottom calendar, we've got some other customizations toggled on and off here. So that's very, very cool that there's a lot of options here for you to look at that I haven't found that in some other calendars. Okay, then once it's hooked up, it'll look something like this to your Google. I have my Google Calendar. You, of course, can't see it super well the way I've got it on my screen here, but all of these events that you see are in my time zone. That's what the website also does, and are added into my calendar so that I can see. Some I have one aspect being made, some none, some multiple, and then you can click on it and it will come up here. And as we can see, we've got Venus going to conjunct my natal Pluto on August 1st. Here is when that happened. And you've got the date, the time. You can see some of the information down here. Now, again, I've chosen very minimal because I know a lot about astrology, but if you wanted a lot more on your calendar invite to help you make interpretations yourself, you can, and you can change that there too. I've also got it hooked up on my phone because I really do use this. I'm so busy doing astrology for everyone else that sometimes I forget to look at it myself. So I've got it plugged in here on my little calendar widget down there that I can see it on my phone, which is very good. And then here's the last thing. I'll show you the web-based version, which I love. Which is very similar, of course, to your own personal calendar. Now, the personal calendar will notify you on your laptop and wherever, and this one won't notify you as much if things are going on, but you can always come in and look at this as well, which has very similar information, and it's also personalized to your chart too. So please do check this out. I absolutely love it here. Think it's super useful, and tell them I sent you here, code ethereal15 for 15% off there. I hope you all enjoy it. I think that tools like this are super, super helpful here. Now, let's go ahead and let's hop into the video for today in the horoscope here. What I like to do first in these videos, of course, is to place on the chart what it is that I'm referring to and what we're going to talk about here so that you can just get a better idea of where it is in the chart in a more general sense of things. So I'm going to do that. This video is, of course, for that full moon in Aries on Thursday, October 17th. Because of that, I've adjusted my chart accordingly. We've got the moon here in Aries making an exact opposition over here to the sun in Libra. And when the moon opposes the sun here, that is what is considered a full moon. And of course, it's a full moon in Aries because that's where the moon itself is. Hey, what are full moons all about? Well, full moons are all about stepping into things that we've been working towards for quite some time, or bringing things to completion or fulfillment, right? A full moon, bringing things to fullness. Here, not only that, but full moons are also a time when the moon is the brightest in the sky. And because of that too, I also think of full moons as a time of enlightenment or insight, of seeing things maybe that we did not see before. In addition to that, full moons to me are also a lot about choices as well, because they're a function of an opposition. And it's hard to do two opposite things at once. Sometimes you got to make choices here about which one you're going to do and how you're going to bring them together and all of that here that's going on. Okay, now what is it that we're stepping into more fully, getting insights about, and maybe even making some decisions around Aries, because that's, again, the sign that the full moon is in. What is Aries all about? Well, the first thing that I'll note is that Aries is a Mars-ruled sign. Here, Mars is about action. It's about doing things here. So I think that's a huge theme that we're going to be talking about here at this full moon is we're trying to step into more action, doing more things and getting insight around that type of action, what it is, how it might be, and making choices, I think, to act here in certain ways that's going on. Okay, not only do I want to note that, but Aries is the first sign of the zodiac as well, which is typically about new things that maybe we've never done before or doing things in different ways. Here that's going on. So not only is this full moon about us starting to do more things and get the insight around that and make choices to do it, but it's about us doing things in different ways that maybe we were not doing them prior to this or haven't done them in a very long time. What are those ways of doing things here that we're trying to do and figure out? Well, other things about Aries as well. Aries is a cardinal sign. Okay, cardinal signs start things, they don't necessarily finish them here. And not only that, it's also a fire sign, which right, obviously can be very passionate. So what that means to me is that Aries tends to do things quicker, shorter, right? Doesn't follow the rhythm, quicker, shorter, maybe even I might even say easier, more simple. And they're not super perfect. They're not super refined, especially because it does quincunx the sign of Virgo, which is about perfection. So not only do I think that at this full moon, we're trying to step into more action that's different, where we're doing things differently and get insights about what those are and choose to do that. But that action that's different that we're realizing that we need to step into is one that's quicker, that's shorter, that's easier, that's less refined, right? Less perfect here that's going on. Okay, not only that, but other things I want to note about Aries is that Aries is also a sign that's more about ourselves as individuals, not about other people, not about what they want, what they're doing, who's doing it with us. It's about ourselves. It's about what we want, what we desire. It's about maybe things we can either do more independently and alone or that are going to serve more of our own best interest here instead of be for everyone else that's going on. So that's another part of this equation here is that at this full moon, we're trying to step into a new type of action, doing things in a different way and make decisions to do that and get insights about what that is. And the insights about that type of different action that we need to do is that we need to do this different type of action in a way that's quicker, faster, easier, shorter, either something we can do alone, or if we're doing it with other people in a way that supports us, not what they want, what we want, what's going to be best for us here that's needed. Okay, not only that, other things that I want to note as well about Aries is that Aries, again, is a fire sign. Fire signs to me are very passionate, which I think can also be interpreted to be lively, excitable, maybe even sometimes fun. It can be a real good time here that's going on as well. So I think another part of this action that we're trying to step into here is not only all the other things I mentioned, quicker, easier, shorter, more independent, more in our best interest here, but also just like more fun, more passionate, more lively here as well, that I think is a big part of the equation. Okay. In addition to that, Aries, maybe I'll note, I did say this a little bit earlier, but I'm going to say it in a different way now, is about our identity. And I think doing our identity differently or seeing ourselves as a different type of person here that's going on. So I think that's also part of the equation as well. Another thought that I might give you too about Aries is that Aries as well, to me, can be a sign of courage because the Mars, I think can indicate some of that as well, more courageous, more assertive here in our situation. So I think another theme at this full moon is not only trying to do things in a different way and get insights about that, which is quicker, easier, shorter, more in our best interest, more passionate, more lively, more excitable, that's going on, maybe even more independent here, but we're also trying to get the courage up to really do that and to see ourselves in a different way in order to facilitate that and bring all of that together here that's going on. So I think that that's what's happening there. Those are the main themes. Okay, now, what I typically do at this point in the video is go backwards in time here to give you more of the context of how we got here and of why these themes are coming up, because I do believe that the past context here can really change a lot in a horoscope, especially because there's a full moon Aries every year. But I'm not going to do that today. I'm not going to do that today because I'm just going to be honest with you all. I'm not feeling super great. I'm a bit anemic that I've been trying to figure out for a bit here, and I'm changing up some of my ways that I deal with that. I don't know if it's really working. Not only that, I'm just not feeling emotional. I'm just a little down today. We're just going to say it like that. I'm just a little down today. So I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to go straight into the horoscope here for this full moon in Aries. So let's do that. And I'm going to zoom into the specific aspects that are going on. And to do that, I think I'm going to talk about an aspect that actually isn't directly involved with the full moon, but is happening around it, especially the past few days, and that's kind of passing, because I think that is going to help me to give you a little bit of the context here of what's going on. And that's going to be here. We've got Venus in Scorpio around the time of this full moon in Aries, making an opposition over here to Uranus in the sign of Taurus, right? You can see it's obviously passing here, moving on, but still in aspect. Okay, what is this all about? This in some ways is a bit of a challenging alignment. This in some ways is a bit of a challenge because Venus is in Scorpio, a sign it does not like to be in, and therefore does not function that well in, and it's at the last degree of that sign it does not like to be in, which tends to be a very intense degree. In addition to that, an opposition is typically a hard aspect here, and Uranus is involved in Taurus, also a sign that it does not like to be in as well. So this to me can be a very challenging aspect. Okay, but even though this is a challenging aspect here, I do think that there's something good about it. And I do think that there's something good about it because this is considered a little bit of a mutual reception in astrology. And a mutual reception is when you have two planets in two signs that do not like where they're at, but actually love the sign the other planets in, and therefore can work together to really help each other out. And as I've said, Venus doesn't like to be in Scorpio there, but it loves Taurus. It functions so well there. Uranus doesn't like to be in Taurus, but it loves Scorpio. It's exalted there. Uranus is exalted in Scorpio. Venus is exalted in Taurus. So they function very, very well, and they're in these opposite areas and are going to help each other out. Okay, what can this manifest as? Well, because of that, I think it can manifest a little bit of both challenging at first and then helpful after. What might that look like? Well, Venus is a lot about relationships. It's also a lot about money. It's even about our own sense of self. Not only that, but because Venus in some ways does also correlate to Libra, one of its home signs, I think I'm also going to say it has to do with some of our habits, especially habits lately that have been unhelpful with the South Node there, like overthinking, people pleasing, here hesitating as well. That's going on. And it's connecting here with Uranus, which is really all about breaking free from things that have been keeping us stuck here, which could also be sudden and unexpected. Uranus tends to do that here and create a lot of change, with Venus being in Scorpio, a sign of change and transformation that can be really uncomfortable to make and be very intense. And not only be very uncomfortable to make and be very intense, but could bring up a lot of subconscious emotions that are uncomfortable or require us to face other people, right? Scorpio is a relationship sign, to confront other people and to change or end, especially if relationships are involved, situations there that can be very, very hard. Okay, that's going on and requires some hard conversations here that's happening. But even though, right, this is difficult, unexpected, breaking free, endings in some way, breaking free from relationships, money, habits that are holding us back, and hard conversations and emotions in order to do that, this can lead to something good after that, which is what I think we're starting to feel more of since this alignment is passing. And that good thing is what? Us feeling more aligned as a result of us dropping some of this dead weight or ending some of these things, feeling more authentic. Uranus more aligned, Uranus more free, Uranus here to be our authentic self or do things that are more authentic, and with the Taurus more in alignment with our values, with the core of what is truly important to us here at this time. So I think that's the first thing that I want to say about this full moon in Aries and the aspects happening around it, is that we recently have unexpected, or other people have with us, right? Either we recently or someone else has with us unexpectedly broken free from a relationship situation, a money situation, or old habits and patterns, overthinking, hesitating, and people pleasing that haven't been working for us, which was hard to do, hard conversations, very emotional, very difficult, but was for our best interest here, putting us in a much better place that feels more aligned and more true to our needs and values at this time. Okay, that then leads me now to the next alignment that I want to talk about, which is of course going to be back to that full moon in Aries, which is what this video is for here, which is right here. Here's the moon in Aries making an opposition to the sun in Libra. Okay, what is that all about? Well, as I described earlier in this video, a full moon is about stepping into things that we've been working towards for quite some time, which is the Aries action in a way that's different, that's quicker, easier, shorter, and more in our best interest here, that's going on, more fun, more excitable, things like that here that's happening. So I think that this is actually us here trying to do more of that and feeling more free and able to do more of that here that's going on, especially after having gotten rid of some things that were preventing us from doing that, relationship situations or money situations or habits and mindsets and things of that sort here that's going on. So do you see, to continue to bring it together before I add on another piece, we recently, or people recently with us, have suddenly and unexpectedly started to break free from some things that were keeping us stuck here with relationships and money and our own habits, overthinking, people pleasing, and hesitating. It was not easy to do. It was very uncomfortable in order to do that with ourselves and others, requiring maybe hard conversations, a lot of soul searching and all of that, but it worked to put our lives in a different place that feels more authentic to us, more aligned and more free. And because we're now feeling in a different place, more authentic, more free, without some of this other stuff bringing us down, we're also feeling more able now to do other things in our life that we could not do before when we had these other things going on, and to do other things in our life that are more in our best interest, that are more what we want to do, more fun, more easy, more quick, more short, really going to put our lives in a better place here, and that are maybe more passionate and more excitable here that's happening, and to go more in that direction. That then leads me now to the next alignment that I want to mention, which is the fact that this full moon in Aries, as you can see here, is making a pretty close conjunction here to Chiron. Yeah, 3 degrees as we see it here. Okay, now this is difficult. Okay. This is a difficult thing here because Chiron's involved, and Chiron does tend to indicate triggers, fears, and insecurities here. So this is a bit of a challenge. Okay, what is the challenge that's going on? Again, Chiron indicates fears, triggers, insecurities. And it's in Aries, the same sign as that full moon, which we just talked about was about us doing more things in ways that are quicker, easier, shorter, more passionate, more independent, all of that. And so this can indicate that we're feeling triggered around those same things, around those same things we want to do, around those same things we're trying to do. We're triggered around them here. They're feeling really hard for us to do. They're feeling really uncomfortable for us to do. They're feeling really raw, really vulnerable here. That's going on. That is a bit of a challenge here that's happening. Okay, why? Maybe to give you some more thoughts here. Why might they be feeling uncomfortable? We want to do them. They're going to be in our best interest. You know, they're going to put us in a better place. Why may we feel uncomfortable doing them, or like we don't want to do something we really want to do, right? There's this weird thing going on. Well, it's an Aries. Aries, again, is the first sign of the zodiac, as I talked about doing new things we've never done before here. So I think part of the problem with us fully adopting these different behaviors quicker, easier, faster is that we've just never done them before here, right? We've been stuck in other behaviors, people pleasing, holding ourselves back, making things more complicated, all of that. And so it's harder to do things in a different way if you've never done it before or haven't done it in a while, you know? So I think that's part of the reason why it feels uncomfortable here. We're just not what we're used to and haven't done it before in a while. Not only that, but Aries is a lot about our identity and who we are here as well. So I think the other problem about this as well is that we just don't identify with these new habits yet, or see ourselves as this type of person. You know, we see ourselves as a different type of person who maybe was hesitating, more of a people pleaser, more thinking things through, more stuck in all this other stuff. We don't see ourselves as a go-getter, right? That's the Aries. The go-getter makes up happen for our lives, does what we want, whenever we want to do it, goes for things. We don't see ourselves as that type of person. So I think that also makes it hard as well. Not only that, but maybe another thought here too about it. You know, Aries, Chiron can sometimes maybe make us feel can make us feel bad for those traits as well, too, because it does have to do with triggers. So an Aries, is more assertive, more of a doer. And so this can also lead to us maybe having a bad taste in our mouth about these traits, us feeling like doing more things quicker, easier, all of that will make us is a bad thing, or will make us a bad person here that's going on. So maybe there's also some feelings like that. If I do things in this quicker, easier way, I'm a bad person because I'm not thinking more things through, or I'm not all of that. Not only could that be going on, but also I need to note as well, some of the difficulty as well too could be from some things that have gone on from the past few weeks. Remember, with that Venus opposite Uranus, which I started this on here, we recently, I think, broke free or ended some things here with relationships, maybe even money, all of that was keeping us stuck. So this could also leave a little bit of a bad taste in our mouth here from those things that recently happened, right? If someone recently ended a relationship with you, then this can leave you feeling a little bit sore. How do I do what I want to do? I'm so used to being in this relationship. I miss this person that just broke up with me, or that I just broke up with, so it's hard for me to do what I want to do when I still feel sad about what just happened. Not only that, but if say you were the one to break up with someone or to end a relationship, this can also have you feeling bad too. I feel bad. I just hurt someone's feelings, and now I'm going to do what I want to do, and now I'm just going to have fun or whatever. So it can also lead to some kind of guilty feelings around that as well here. That can also be quite hard here that's going on, making us uncomfortable. So to continue bringing it together, again, before I add the next aspect, is what's going on at this full moon is that we've recently, I think, unexpectedly, broken free or ended or changed some situations with relationships, money, our own sense of self, and habits with hesitating, overthinking, people pleasing that were holding us back, so that they aren't holding us back anymore here, which was hard to do, very difficult, a lot of hard conversation, soul searching, all of that, but is done. And has put us in a much better place that we feel is more aligned with us, more authentic, more in alignment with our values, and is allowing us to be more free. And because finally we've gotten rid of some of the stuff that's been holding us back, and we're in a better place that's more alignment, we're feeling more able now to do other stuff we want to be doing that we couldn't do before with those things that we had that are quicker, easier, shorter, more fun, more happy, in our best interest here that's going on. But even though we finally feel more free to do more of what we want to do without these things, we're not fully able to take advantage of this different space, and we're not fully embracing these different actions and these different behaviors and moving forward on those in the way that we might like here. That's going on, and we feel very triggered and uncomfortable about them, and that's because it's just not what we're used to here. We're not used to behaving in this way here or doing things differently. That's going on. We also don't see ourselves as this type of person that does things like this as well, or maybe we even feel like some of these different behaviors, quick, easy, short, fast, is bad or is selfish here in some sort of way, and feel guilty for them. And maybe too, we still feel a little stung from what did happen the past few weeks. If someone ended something with us or changed something with us that we didn't want something to change with, we might feel really hurt by that. Or if we had to change something with someone else, maybe we feel like the bad guy for doing that too here as well. That can just really be weighing on us, kind of bringing us down here at this time, preventing forward movement. That then leads me now to the next thing that I want to talk about here, which is going to be Mars. Here, 22 degrees Cancer, making a square to this full moon, which includes both the sun here in Libra here, and the moon and Chiron here in Aries. Okay, now this is also very, very difficult, as if the conjunction to Chiron wasn't hard enough, adding like insult to injury here. This is very difficult for a few reasons. For one, these are both squares. Squares is technically a hard aspect here that's going on, literally 90-degree angles, a hard one. Not only that, but Mars is in Cancer, a sign it does not like to be in and does not function very well in, which can make it more difficult. In addition, Mars is in pre-retrograde shadow, about to go retrograde soon as well, which can make it more of a weird thing here. In addition, Chiron's involved too, which can also make this hard. So to me, this is very challenging in a lot of different ways here that's going on. What is the difficulty? Well, Mars is about action. It's a planet of action, which actually correlates to Aries, ruled by Mars, the sign of action here. So this is another indicator, and I like it when there are multiple things in a chart that indicate similar things. This is another indicator. Oops, looks like we lost my screen here for a minute. Okay, it's back. this is another indicator here in the astrology that we are having a really hard time acting and doing things here, especially things that are in our best interest, that are quicker, easier, shorter, and going to put our life in a better place here. Okay, not only is this another indicator indicating that we're having difficulty with this, but this can also indicate some other things. This can indicate either us not doing anything at all, right, and being stuck here. That's going on because, again, Mars isn't like to be in the sign of Cancer, okay? That's going on. Or if not, us not doing anything and just kind of standing still can indicate us doing things sideways. Doing what we want to do, doing what's in our best interest, doing things, trying to do things quicker, shorter, and easier, but not fully attacking them head on, doing things sideways. And again, that's because Mars is in Cancer, and there's a few things about Cancer here. Mars doesn't like to be in Cancer because Mars is about action. And Cancer is very sensitive and like safety. It doesn't like to act unless it's safe here. So either won't act at all unless it's safe, or Cancer's the crab. And what do crabs do? Sideways. We'll move sideways. I'm not going to do what I want to do head on. I'm not going to do quick, easy, short, fast action head on because that's not safe. That's scary. I'm going to do it a little bit. I'm going to come at it from the side. I'm going to maybe try if I do this, it'll get me to a quicker and shorter way. Maybe I'm going to take the long route because the long route feels maybe safer in order to get where I want to go. Is going to kind of behave in very weird ways surrounding all of that here. So can indicate some of that going on. Not only that, but this can also bring on even more emotional triggers because Cancer is a very emotional sign, water sign, very sensitive, correlated to the moon, and Mars will push all those buttons, push all your emotional buttons here where you're not feeling right about your life, or where, you're feeling bad about this, and bring up all these emotional issues from the past, right? Cancer tends to do that about the past. Bring up all these emotional issues in the past that haven't been resolved, that all of a sudden now are becoming a big deal. It can also bring up a lot of that and a lot of emotions around that could feel a bit challenging here and make volatile. This could bring some sadness sometimes with the water sign. It can also bring frustration, and it can also bring some anger because there is a lot of Mars energy here that's going on, which looks like will come out in a more passive aggressive way, right? Because Cancer doesn't do anything head on. So this doesn't look like anger, in a more direct way of like, you need to stop this and all. This looks like anger in a more passive kind of way where it's like, whoa, I'm just minding my own business, and now all of a sudden there's someone that's mad. Not only do I want to note that, I want to note too that some of this anger could be directed at a person, individual, and could create arguments in relationships, but that is not really what I'm leaning towards as the interpretation for this, is arguments with other people. To me, this looks more like arguments with ourselves, mad at ourselves here that we might be taking out on people inadvertently. And the reason why it looks more like us being mad at ourselves and not mad at relationships, even though it may look like that, is because remember that first alignment that I mentioned, especially after that eclipse in Libra 2 weeks ago, the first alignment that I mentioned was breaking free from those people that are holding you back so that they're no longer holding you back. So if we really did that, which I think we should have, if we really broke free from those people that were holding us back and they're no longer in our lives and they're no longer bringing us down, then there's no one to be mad at. The only person to be mad at here is ourselves. So keep that in mind. This can bring a lot of anger, which I think can come out passive aggressively here, maybe at other people. But this anger is really not about relationships. It's about ourselves and us being unhappy with who we are and with how we're handling the situation because we're unable to move our own lives forward. Okay. And if maybe before I move on, and if you're looking at me being like, no, there's someone else in my life that is really upsetting me here. Well, that's not about this full moon. That's about 2 weeks ago, that eclipse. You need to go back to that and you need to either end that relationship, set a strong boundary, change it, all of that, because this to me is not about mad at other people for what they're doing or not doing. That's already taken care of. This is you mad at yourself for what you are and are not doing that may be coming out and affecting other people. Okay. That's going on here. That can be a little bit of a challenge. Okay. Another reason that I want to give you why again are we having problems, moving forward in this different way? Well, again, Cancer likes to be safe. So there's this feeling of like, it's just not safe. It's just not safe for me to do things in this different way. So I think that's a big feeling here too. Cancer also likes things to be more grounded, having to do with our foundation, home and family. I think this new way doesn't feel grounded, especially if it's like just doing a whole bunch of stuff, right? Like what's grounded about that? So I think there's also this feeling too of like, it just doesn't feel safe. It doesn't feel grounded. Not only that, but Cancer too likes to be very caring, or at least appear to be very caring and nurturing to others. So I think there's also this feeling too of like, if I just do what I want to do and just go for it, not only is it crazy and not safe and not grounded and I'm not used to it, and it's very different from what I've been doing and I don't see myself in this way, but then I'm not going to be seen as like a caring person to other people. I'm going to be seen as like this aggressive person, that I've been told was bad, or that like I don't want to be seen as here too. That can be very, very hard. Okay. So that's what I think is going on. Let me bring that together, and then I'll give you the advice. I think we're going to shift to that. What I think is going on so far at this full moon in Aries is that we have recently, or the people we're connecting with, broken free, ended, or changed significantly in an unexpected manner some relationships and money that we have, and some old habits such as overthinking, people pleasing, and hesitating, so that they are no longer holding us back or bringing us down anymore. And it was hard to do. Very intensely emotional, hard conversations, things like that was going on, but it worked. We did it. It worked to put our lives in a different place that is a little more authentic to ourselves, more in alignment with our needs and values, and gives us more freedom now to do other things here that we might want to do that are more authentic to us here. And because we now have that freedom without these things that are bringing us down, right? We are actually not just able to do other things in our life that are better for us, but are trying to do those things, in our life that are better for us here, that are more fun, that we're going to like, that are more in our best interest, that are quicker, easier, and shorter, and to take action more and more and more on that. However, actually taking action on that is very hard for us to do things in this different way without this other stuff bringing us down, quick, easy, short, passionate, all of that. And it's hard for us to do things in this different way for a few reasons. One, because we're not used to doing things in this different way, because we've been people pleasing and hesitating and making things more complicated for so long, and it feels uncomfortable. Another reason is because we're just not used to seeing our identity this way. We don't see ourselves as a go-getter type of person that goes for these things that it is that we want as well. Another reason too is because it feels unsafe to do things in this different way here, because it seems kind of crazy and kind of all over the place here and uncomfortable, and because it doesn't feel that grounded, and because we also maybe feel like the bad guy, the bad person for doing things in this different way, because we're not appearing to be nurturing or caring, and because maybe we hurt some people's feelings the past 2 weeks by doing what we wanted to do, or some other people hurt ours, and things like that that's going on, that can cause us to either stay stuck and not do anything at all, especially not in a way that's quicker, easier, shorter, fun, more in our best interest here. Or if we do things, to do them sideways, to do them in weird ways, to do them halvesies, or to take the long route in order to do them, or instead of really doing these things that we want to do in quick, easy, simple ways, which can be making us just feel very triggered emotionally, like we're not really where we want to be in life, doing what we need to be doing here, bring up a lot of emotional junk from the past few years about everything that's been unresolved in our lives that we haven't really liked here, and push our buttons a lot and make us sad, and can also bring out anger, which can come out passive aggressively here at other people, even though deep down our anger is really about ourselves and what we feel like we're capable of here, because anyone else that's bringing you down should have been handled 2 weeks ago here that's going on, which can make this full moon very hard. Okay, so what's the advice? Now let's shift over to that here. Well, to give you some of the advice, let's go back to the full moon itself here. Full moons, remember, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, are about choices, because you can't do two opposite things at once, right? Oppositions usually indicate choices here, and that can also be what makes full moon so intense. The full moon gets a bad rap here. Well, it's intense because it's a function of an opposition. I'm being pulled in different directions. What do I do? You have to make a choice usually in order to resolve that. And the choice needs to be with Aries, because that's where the moon is, which is the more passing influence here. And Aries is about those things we've been talking about: action, doing things, going for it, quick, easy, short, even if it's not perfect, to make things happen that are more in our best interest here. Okay. So I think part of the advice here is that you need to make a choice to do more things that you want to do that are going to be easy, quicker, shorter, and in your best interest without overthinking, right? That's the point. Without overthinking, without people pleasing, without worrying about everyone else and what they're going to say and what they're going to do here, without hesitating, all of that. Not only is that the advice, but again, Aries is about courage. Courage is about getting the courage up as well in order to face these fears, face these triggers, move past them, overcome them, things like that here that's happening. Okay, not only is that part of the advice that I'm going to give you, but I think there's also a sense too of optimism and of looking on the bright side. I think that is as well because Aries is literally a fire sign. Fiery, fire is bright, fire is bright. Okay, looking on the bright side of things. Here I also consider Aries a little bit more about living in the present moment, but also too because Venus in the day after this full moon is going to enter Sagittarius, which is very good. It's going to move out of Scorpio, sign it doesn't like, and into Sag. And Sagittarius is this optimism, glass half full type situation. So I think that's another piece of advice. You got to choose to act on these things that are going to be better for you and get the courage up to do it. Okay, and just have hope and faith that it's going to work out and believe and focus on the positives, right? Did I say that? Focus on the bright side, on the positives here and all of that, and to focus on the present, on what you can control in the present. I kind of said those things together, but those can be separate. Choose to act, get the courage up, focus on the positives and on the bright side here, have hope and faith, and focus on the present, okay? So that you don't get distracted. Because there's a tendency to remember Mars in Cancer. This happened 5 years ago and I'm still upset about it. And this happened here. Present. Stay in the present. Stay in the present. Stay hopeful. Focus on the bright side. Okay. Not only is that part of the advice, but I think another piece of advice that I want to give you as well is with the Jupiter. The Jupiter here because the full moon is also making a sextile over here to Jupiter in Gemini, which recently went retrograde there. What is that about? Well, I need to note, I do think that Gemini is also a very optimistic and playful sign too, like having fun with things. So I am just getting a huge message here of like, you got to do stuff, but have fun with it. Have fun with it. Stay in the present. Don't get lost in the past. Remain hopeful. Not only that, but another thing I'll pull out here is that Gemini is a mutable sign, very flexible, that's going on. So I think another part of the message is to remain flexible. If you do something and it doesn't work, pivot, change. Okay. If you do something and it feels uncomfortable, okay, that's fine. Pivot, change, maybe try it a different way, try to come at it differently, try to come at it from a different angle, try to do that same thing until you kind of figure it out here. That's going on because I think that that can also help you as well to work some things through. That's going on here. That's happening. And because I think these actions that we're going to take, even if it feels uncomfortable, even if it's messy, over the course of the next few months, I need to note, I do believe is going to get us to a better place. So let me maybe go, even though my advice was to stay in the present, I'm going to give you a little bit of a future thought here. Next year, there are some significant things going on, right? Next year, we've got a lot of planets changing signs. Pluto's going to more permanently, enter Aquarius and stay there. We're also going to have Saturn and Neptune enter Aries briefly next year, even though it's going to retrograde back into Pisces. And then Uranus is going to enter Gemini briefly as well. And when we get a lot of planets changing signs like this can indicate significant changes coming next year. Okay. In addition to like significant changes that we haven't seen since 2020 coming next year here that's going on, even though I think they're really going to take until 2026 to kind of complete, but can indicate that going on. In addition to that, next July, Jupiter is going to enter the same spot, roughly where Mars has been. Now is going retrograde, and Jupiter loves to be in Cancer, as an exalted there, as to where Mars hates to be in Cancer, where it is now. So, which is a good thing, indicating that the things that we're doing now, even though they're hard to do, even though we're struggling to do them, even though they feel very uncomfortable, we are going to get a hang of them by next year. And I think it's probably going to happen like May to August, maybe, of next year, are going to bring significant change in our lives, and it's actually going to improve our lives. So even though it feels hard now, if we kind of work through it, even if it's sloppy, even if it's messy, it is going to lead us to a much, much better place here in like a year's time if you just hang in there that I don't even think you can imagine right now. I don't even think you can see right now here that's going on. And I think that better place, maybe to add more detail, is going to be either a place that we've been trying to get to since 2020, but just haven't been able to really break through to, that next year we are going to do here, or is going to be more of what we wanted to do since 2020. So going to add on top of that to make that even better. And it's going to make as well, not only that, our life next year is going to become more solid. So next year we're going to feel like we actually have 2 feet on solid ground that's extra sturdy, not just like maybe we're solid, maybe we're not. It's going to feel like our new life is more solid as a rock. So keep that in mind here, that these things, even though they're really hard, is going to get us to a better place in a few months' time here that we can't even imagine now, that we've been trying to get to for a while, is finally going to happen and be more solid, okay, into a new experience. Another thought that I want to offer you too is about the Mars retrograde here while I'm giving you the advice. You know, I've thought about this a little bit here. The advice I've given you in this video is clearly to do action, to do more action here. But Mars is going retrograde soon, not yet, soon. And I think under normal circumstances, I might consider that as a time for like non-action here, to kind of ease up on the action. But I want to just give you a note about how I'm coming up with this interpretation. I'm actually seeing the Mars retrograde more about doing and failing instead of not acting at all here that's going on. And the reason why I'm seeing it more as that, which is unique to this Mars retrograde and maybe not a way that I would always interpret it, is because the North Node is in Aries, which is Mars's sign, and the North Node is what we need to do more of at this time. So my thought here is not that this Mars retrograde is about us not doing anything at all. My thought here is that this Mars retrograde is about us trying to do and maybe failing and not doing it right here, that's going on in order for us to get up to speed, right? And that's going on because how do you get comfortable doing something you've never done before? How do you get comfortable doing something you're not comfortable with? By doing it. You know, how do you, right? It's like, how do you ride a bike? I remember riding a bike. I was actually quite scared to do it and to fall off, you know, right? How do you learn to ride a bike? Well, it's not by not riding a bike. It's by riding the bike and then falling, getting a few bruises, and then like trying again, you know? So I think that that's my thought here, is that we have to do things. It's going to be messy here, what's going on. But this mess is going to teach us, right? We're going to learn through experience. It's going to teach us here, right? Especially with the Venus entering Sagittarius is about experience, as to where Gemini is about information. We're learning. We're going to learn through experience here what it means to do and fail and do and fail here, and how to bring all of that together. Okay, not only do I want to say that about the Mars retrograde coming up soon as well, is that that's the way I see it. Not about doing nothing here, even though I guess you could do nothing if you wanted, but more about needing to do and fail, and that being a very valuable process to learn from, which is going to bring the shifts next year here that's going on, and alert us maybe to more of what really needs to be healed. But I also see it. Sorry, I lost my thought here. Give me a minute. I also see it here as, that's what I wanted to say, as good things coming from it, you know, and I'm getting a sense of like, we're going to be lucky here. That's going on too. Maybe it's part of the Venus entering Sagittarius, the day after this full moon in Aries, but I think part of it also is Jupiter about to move into Cancer next year in the same spot that Mars is here too. And Jupiter's exalted in Cancer. It's going to move there next July, I believe. So I'm also getting a sense too that the things we do now and fail at here is going to help us in ways we can't even see create a better life, and that it's going to work out. You know, I think there are some horoscopes that I've given you in the past. I've tried to ease up a little bit on my language since a few years ago. Like 2020 was kind of hard, but there are some horoscopes I think I've given you in the past where I've been like, you don't do this, or you're gonna, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna pay off. You're gonna get yourself in a bigger of a mess. And this is not one of those times, in my opinion. This is not one of those horoscopes. Like, do things, mess up, and it's gonna work out better. Do things and mess up, and the failures are going to propel you to your successes, or the fail you're going to, and I think I said it in my last video, you're going to fail up. So I think that's what I want to say here, because the doing and failing is going to teach you things that are going to help you finally get it right, that you may not learn if you didn't do anything at all. Okay. And also, too, maybe on another note, if you don't do anything at all either, right? So if you're one of those people that like, I can't do anything, I don't think that's going to hurt you either, because again, I really do like Jupiter moving into this spot in Cancer next year, being exalted. I think that everything's going to kind of come out in the wash, but I do feel like it's more do and fail, especially while Mars is retrograde from November to February or March of next year. And then you're going to figure it out from that failing being an important part of the process here. That's going to get you to a better way. And we can't be afraid to fail here. That's going on. So I really wanted to share that with you. It's a lot about my opinion, right? And my opinion doesn't have to be the only one. It doesn't have to be the right one. It doesn't have to be the most right. It's just that my opinion is like, we need to keep doing things that are easier, better, shorter, even if it hurts, even if we fail, even if it doesn't work out, because that failing during Mars retrograde, November to February, I don't know when it's ending, of next year, is going to teach us things we could not learn if we did nothing at all, even though I think you're also going to be fine there too. And that's going to lead to our success and big changes in a way that maybe you can't even see yet coming after that June, July of next year, that are going to put you on way better footing since 2020. Okay. And make you feel like you have something to show for yourself. Okay. And that's it. Because that's it, I'm just going to repeat that one last time here without the astrological jargon. So let me do that now. What I think is going on here at this full moon in Aries is that we have recently, I think, broken free, changed, or ended some relationship and money situations and some habits such as overthinking, people pleasing, and hesitating that was not in our best interest here, which was hard to do at first. Maybe required some difficult conversations, some intense emotions, but did work to put ourselves in a little bit of a better place that we feel is more authentic to us here, more in alignment with our needs and values, and gives us more freedom to do other things that we might want to do that are in our best interest. And because we've done that and we're in a better place, we now at this full moon in Aries are actually trying to utilize this different, more free space that we're in and do things with it. Do things with it that we want to do, that we couldn't do before when we had all these people and things bringing us down, that are fun, that are easy, that are quick, that are short, that are more passionate, that are more in our best interest here at this time. Okay, which is a good thing that I think we need to do. But even though that's what's going on here, we're really struggling with that. And we're really struggling to fully do these things here. That's going on here, because I think that we're not really used to behaving in this way. It's so different for us because we're used to people pleasing and hesitating and holding ourselves back. I think it's also hard because we don't really typically see ourselves as this type of person that just does things. Here, I think it's also hard for us too, because this different approach doesn't necessarily feel safe or feel comfortable to us. I think it's also hard as well because this approach doesn't feel super grounded, right? Just doing things and going for it doesn't feel super solid or super grounded with the foundation that we might like. I think we're also really struggling to do it as well because I think we are afraid of doing things and then appearing to be not as nurturing to other people or as kind to other people and things as we used to be. I think we're also afraid of doing more of what we want to do as well, because maybe either someone ended a relationship with us and we're still hurt from that, or maybe we ended or did something with someone else recently and we feel like a bad person for doing that. Here that's going on. That's very hard, making us either feel stuck and not do anything at all, or if not feel stuck, then to do things in a quicker, shorter, easier way, but little teensy quick, little tiny bit, little tiny quick, little tiny short, instead of actually attacking it with the full speed and the strength here that it is that we need to be doing those things, which can make us just feel not where we want to be in life. Like we're not really where we want to be, making things happen for ourselves in a positive way and bring up up a lot of triggers from the past few years, that we haven't fully resolved, that we never figured out, bringing up every single issue from the past. That's just hard, making us mad and angry, which can come out passive aggressively with relationships, but is really about ourselves, because we ended those people that were getting us down. It's really about ourselves and how we feel unfulfilled in our own lives. And like, we're not doing really what we need to be doing for ourselves in order to move forward here, which is very hard, making us kind of spiral downwards emotionally in a lot of ways, and just feel bad with whatever we do, like nothing working, nothing feels right, whatever's going on here. Doing what we want to do feels bad. Doing what other people want us to do feel bad. Just hard. Okay, because that's going on, I'm going to give you some advice. And I think the advice that I want to give you here is that you need to make a conscious choice to do more of what you want to do anyways. Quick, short, easy, fun, more in your best interest, even if it feels hard, and to get the courage up to do that. Not only is the advice to make a choice to act and get the courage up to do it, even if it feels hard, but to try your best to stay grounded in the present and to not get bogged down in the coulda, woulda, shouldas, everything from the past that went wrong here that's going on. And also to remain hopeful and optimistic here about what's can happen, what's possible, and to look on the bright side, because I think something good is coming next year around the same time a year from now. And I think the advice too is to also remain flexible. If you do something and it doesn't work, try something else. If you do something and it's hard, try it in a different way here, and to adapt to your situation, and maybe even to learn from what is going on here as well, because I think that's also going to help you better navigate the time and get a better experience of it, especially again a year from now, when I think a lot of good things are going to come together that maybe we never thought would happen. Okay, and that's it. Okay. Because that's it, I'm just now going to offer a few other thoughts here about the energy in a more conversational way. Okay. What are we doing? What are we supposed to do, right? Remember, that's the whole point of this. Sorry, my computer's having an issue here. I haven't been doing too much on it lately. What are we trying to do here? Remember, the whole thing about this full moon in Aries is that we need to do more things here. What is it? These are things that we need to do, that we need to make a choice to do at this full moon, that are things we want to do for us as individuals, not for someone else. Not, oh, I'm going to do it because to make someone else happy. I'm going to do it for that. This is not things we feel like we should do. I should do it to be a certain way, to get a certain result, to be seen a certain way. No, these things that we are trying to do here, that we're scared to do at this full moon, are things that we want to do for us. For us as individuals, that are just going to make us, that also I need to know, are just going to make us happy. They're just going to make us feel better, and that are going to put our lives in a much better place here that's going on. So keep that in mind here. These things I think that we're trying to do here are for us, not for other people, not for appearances, not to get a certain result, just fun things for us that are going to put our life in a much better place here that's going on. Okay. Okay. Sorry, I'm having a thought in my mind. I'm like, do we want to do these things, or do we need to do these things? I'm going to tell you, I lean more toward, it could be both in a lot of ways, right? It could be both, right? Doing things in your own best interest could be things you just want to do that are fun, but could be things that you need to do here. So I suppose it could be both, but I think, and this is like weirdly just splitting hairs here. I don't think it really matters, but I think that I feel more towards these are things we want to do. These are things we want to do for fun, to improve our lives here. I just think that they feel like needs because we're so scared of them. So I think there's like a weird thing that's going on here. And I think maybe there's also a weird inner struggle around like, do I want to do this, or do I need to do it as well? So maybe there's a whole inner dialogue that's going on there, because I'm like, why? I don't know why this is an issue that I'm feeling, but there could be that going on here. Maybe some of you are literally having problems deciding, out of everything you could do, what thing is the right thing to do, or what thing is the best thing for your situation here. And maybe confusing wants with needs, or have problems discerning between that. And if that's you, I think my answer is what needs to be done, or what See, there I am again. What we're doing at this full moon is things that are quicker, shorter, easier, more fun, and more in our best interest. So maybe that's the thought there. Maybe I won't get caught up in whether we want to do it or whether we need to do it, because I think that's confusing. And I think we see the things we want to do as needs because they're so scary, and we're thinking, right? I wouldn't get caught up in the want and need language. I think just try to do things that are quicker, easier, shorter, more in our best interest, and to focus more on that, and that are going to make you feel more excited about life, and that's going to get you in the right direction. Okay. What else do I want to say? I think now I want to give you some examples here about how this energy might be playing out. Okay. Let's start with homes. Maybe there's been some of you that have been feeling really unhappy with your home and your living space for a while, and you've been hesitating to really change your home or look for a new home or things like that. Well, I believe what would have happened 2 weeks ago at that solar eclipse in Libra is that you would have said, I've got to stop hesitating looking for a home. I'm really unhappy here. And what this full moon in Aries is really all about is you then actually starting to look for a new home, right? To just go for it. And you starting to do that, but then getting scared. Well, maybe I shouldn't be looking for a new home. Maybe it's not the time. Maybe I don't have the money. Maybe it's all wrong. Maybe I should have moved sooner. Now the prices are bad. It's like you getting scared, bringing up all these issues from the past about all of that here. And if not getting scared, maybe this can also indicate you going about your home search in a weird way. Instead of you looking for the houses you really want and the place you really want, you're looking for houses somewhere else, like that you really aren't interested in, really doesn't excite you here, because you just feel that it's safer financially, or safer for this or safer that, instead of actually going for what you want, what's fun for you, what would make your life easier, what would make your life better here. That's going on, and getting kind of like confused here in the mind. That's happening. So I think that can be what's going on, and you having to realize, I'm going to look for a new home. It may take me, a few months to find the right one here, but I'm going to look for a new home, and I'm going to go for exactly what I want. What's going to make me happy? What's going to make my life better, instead of overcomplicating it with all these other options I really don't care about. Okay. It could be something like that. If this is, say, a money issue or a business issue, some of you may be starting businesses or trying to adjust your businesses. Well, what could have been going on for a lot of this year is that you could have been hesitating to start a business, or hesitating to make money or put your business out there or change your business. Well, as of 2 weeks ago, at that solar eclipse in Libra with the Venus opposite Uranus now happening, you may have said, I'm no longer going to hesitate with my business and with making money. I'm now going to start doing the business, start changing the project, start putting myself out there and making money. And you could be doing that. And then what could happen at this full moon is you could all of a sudden get scared. Oh, well, it's scary to make money. It's scary to start a business. It's scary to do all of this here that's going on. And you could start to hold back on it. So you could either not do the project here in the business, or if you're doing the business, you could be doing it in softer ways, right? Instead of attacking the business, this is my business, this is what I'm doing, marketing it, putting it out there, everyone know that's going on, taking the bull by the horns. You could be a little mouse. Well, I've got a business out, but I won't tell anybody. Well, maybe I won't do this. This is, I'm going to take it, it could be a lot of that. And what is trying to happen now over the course of the next few months here is that you've got to stop hiding from your business, or hiding from the world, or seeing business as scary. And you got to own it and go full force on these things here, even if it's sloppy at first here, and put it out there and not be so scared, right? Like that's part of the message. Okay. Not only is that, but maybe this is a health thing that's going on. So maybe some of you have had a health issue that's been going on for a while here. That's happening, and you've been kind of hesitating to get it resolved, or taking it very slowly in order to resolve it. Well, what could have happened a few weeks ago or whatever around that eclipse in Libra is you could have decided, I'm not going to play it slow with my health anymore. I need to take a drastic measure or a bigger measure in order to fix my health. And you could be trying to go towards that. And then what could happen around this full moon in Aries is you could all of a sudden get scared. I was taking a drastic measure to fix my health, and now I'm scared. I'm scared of like telling this doctor, getting these results, doing these things, or I'm scared of doing that. And you could not really fully follow through on what you really need with the health, or not really attack it hard enough in the way that you really need with these things as well, that can create a whole bunch of issues when you really just need to go stronger, go more here on that, and get the courage to keep going with that and keep trying things with it to see what works instead of hold off. Okay, another way that this could be here could be relationship related. Maybe some of you have recently ended relationships, or if not ended relationships, drastically changed your relationships to be more independent, right? To give you more free time here. And maybe some of you could have recently done that, and now you're like, great, I've ended this relationship. Maybe I'll isolate it. You're like, I've ended this relationship and now I can do more of what I want to do, and hang out with my friends and do all these other projects. And then what could happen at this full moon is you could not actually do those things that you ended that relationship to do. It's like you ended the relationship to do all this other fun stuff, and now you're not doing all this other fun stuff because you're scared and it feels uncomfortable and you feel bad about how the relationship ended. Okay, or maybe, to go back to that other example, maybe you recently changed a relationship. You're still in it, but you fundamentally changed it and set some strong boundaries with it, especially 2 weeks ago at that solar eclipse in Libra here, so that you have more free time to do your own thing and all of that. Well, what could happen now at this full moon in Aries is that both of you are not doing what you changed the relationship to be, right? I mean, you're still tiptoeing around each other. Right? You told each other and you set a boundary to allow yourself to still do the thing you want to do, but now the two of you aren't doing it. You're still kind of hesitating, tiptoeing around, don't want to hurt the feelings, don't want to do all of that. And it's like, you just need to go for it. Whatever you change the relationship to be, make it happen. Stop being scared about all of it. Okay. I think as well, a way this could be too, that's going on, maybe some of you recently did get in relationships. Maybe we can say it that way. Maybe some of you recently did get in relationships here that's going on, and you recently got in relationships that you thought were going to be in your best interest here for you and your needs, and to really do more of what you want to do, and have a partner that's going to support that. And maybe what's going on at this full moon in Aries is that you then start to get scared that you being yourself and doing what you want to do is going to make the other person not like you anymore. And so then you stop being who you are, being yourself, being authentic, because you don't want to scare the other person away or whatever here. And you hold off on that when you really need to be yourself more, right? And attack that harder, be who you are, because if they don't like it, they're not meant for you anyways, and you get rid of them sooner, here that's going on. So that can be another way here that this can manifest. Okay. What else? Okay, maybe this is like a promotion at work. If you're not a business owner, maybe some of you have been really wanting like a promotion at work and things like that. And maybe something recently shifted around the solar eclipse at Libra at work in order to give you a chance to have a promotion here, or to do something else with your career that is actually going to be better for you. And maybe at this full moon in Aries, you start to kind of apply for the promotion or to try to get this other opportunity that's come up at work for you, but then you get scared. And what might happen at this full moon in Aries, you might hold off and not really put yourself out there for the promotion, put yourself out there, do what you need to be done here, and could kind of hide away here for it. That could really be working against you when you really need to just put yourself out there more. You're here for the promotion, you're here for the new opportunity, and let people know you're around for it. Okay, so this could be the way that it could play out. And that reminds me of another thought here that I want to give you about the Mars retrograde. Mars is not retrograde yet, as you can see here in this chart. It's not going to go retrograde, I think, another few weeks, the beginning of November sometime. And it's going to start going retrograde in Leo. And Mars is fine in Leo, but Mars doesn't like to be in Cancer. So I think another thing about this Mars retrograde is not only that, like, we're doing things and we're scared to do them, and we're going to make a whole bunch of mistakes, and we need to make a whole bunch of mistakes in order to figure it out. But I think another thing with the Mars retrograde in Leo is that we're acting like a mouse, Cancer, scared, Mars there, instead of a lion. The Leo, where it's going to start retrograde, which of course gets along well with the Aries North Node and stuff. So I think that's another way to put it here, is that what's going on, it's starting because Mars isn't retrograde yet. What's starting to go on at this full moon in Aries is that we're able now, we have a free shot to do more of what we want to do than we've ever had a chance, and to really make positive change in our lives and turn it around. And we're acting like a mouse instead of the lion. that we really are and that we really need to be in order to move forward. And we're still tiptoeing around these things we really want to do instead of attacking them head on, right? When it comes to these things we want to do, we need to learn to stand up and be like, I am here, hear me roar. I want this, I'm doing this, I'm going for it. This is who I am, who cares? Like, whatever, I enjoy it. And we're not there yet. We're not doing that when we need to be doing it more. So I think that's really what we're moving towards here. We got to do more things in our life to really improve it, quick, easy, short, fast, or whatever. And we're being scared to do it. And we're acting like a mouse instead of the lion that we are. And that's what's holding us back, is that we're acting like the mouse instead of the lion. And this Mars retrograde over the course of the next few months is going to be us making mistakes because we're being the mouse, and learning from those mistakes here that we got to start being the lion, that we got to start being stronger, that we can't stop, that we got to stop hiding ourselves and selling ourselves short. And we got to come on stronger here. That's happening in order to really make positive change in our lives and to learn from that. Okay. Here, that's going on. And keep that in mind. The problem is that we got to attack these things we want harder instead of hold back and be scared and let them all that. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at your inside degree. So let me go there. Transical. Sorry, I got it up here. Don't forget that. Ethereal 15. Transical.com if you want to get that. Now let's go to the inside degrees. I think they all, I liked the inside degrees were not created by me. They're created by someone else named Elias Lonsdale, channeled the meanings for each of the degrees from spirit. However, I like to read them because I think that they can be helpful. Okay. This full moon is at 24 degrees Aries, but I think the ones of before and after can all be relevant because the planets are in motion. Okay, we're going to look at 23 first. I've got it up here on the screen. It says, the force of events sweeps away who we thought we were and plunges us to a deeper place beyond the known. The sheer immediacy, the sudden clarity shifts mountains of intent into a different octave together. Okay, what does that mean to me? Well, remember what I've said in this video, especially with that Venus opposite Uranus here that's going on, is that we recently have gotten out of situations that have been keeping us stuck here. That's going on. And what has that done? It's by a force of events that swept us way into a totally different place beyond the known, right? Because we've gotten rid of a whole bunch of things. We now are in a different place. Okay, that's gone. Not only that, does this inside degree say that to me, but there's also the phrase beyond the known, remember? And there's a lot of like fear of the unknown. We've never done it before. We don't know what we're doing here. So I also get that from this degree as well, which adds confirmation to some of the things we've already been talking about. Okay, let's read on. It says, being taken by storm is the most direct path from here to there. And when cosmic worlds are urgently coming through, the only smart thing is to step aside and make a huge amount of room for unexpected guests at events you never could have arranged in your wildest dreams. Okay, so not only to me is this inside degree saying that there's been a significant shift lately, right? That's taken us to a totally different place. We now have more freedom to do what we want to do, which we have never experienced or not known or not experienced in a while here, that it may feel intense, right? It's a storm. It may feel intense here, but it also suggests as well that the way to handle it as advice, right, is to allow it to happen, to step aside and make room to allow it to happen here instead of to fight against it, right? That's what I get, to surrender to it instead of fight against it or get scared of it here. So I think there's some advice with that. Then let's read 24 Aries. It says joy and freedom. Remember, I use both of those words in this horoscope, are perfect companions along the greater way. Joy celebrates existence with a passion and a power and a fervent consistency. Freedom keeps on opening the context to make it more universal, more resonant, and more karma free. So I feel like the inside degrees are giving us advice now. Part of the advice was to surrender to it, not to fight against these new opportunities and all of that, but to allow, to make room for it. I am this different person. I am going to do things in this different way here, and to enjoy it, have fun with it, be happy about it. This is a good thing that you have this opportunity to do that here that's going on, and to allow yourself the freedom to play, the freedom to make mistakes, the freedom to be yourself here that's going along. As moving along this way is a creative feast of self-discovery and exploration of the edges. When selfhood is free to improvise and is open-ended, it is an unqualified blessing. You most especially demonstrate and embody a self-generative style and substance that is wildly needed and inspirationally infused into the collective bloodstream so that we can get on with innovations in limitless worlds and feel confident that there is somebody there pioneering the bold reaches forward who is too foolish to stop at anything. So not only do I feel like these inside degrees are given some advice, but this to me is also talking of hope as well, that us doing these different things in this different way with more surrender, more joy, more freedom here is going to open up limitless worlds and innovations that maybe we couldn't see now, that I think especially are going to come this time next year as a bunch of planets shift sign and Jupiter enters Cancer, right? And sign of exaltation. Okay. Then let's read on Aries 25. It says, storing up for centuries all the best goodies for the time when they are needed. Meanwhile, you are cast loose between source and destination, buffeted by strange winds, and held firmly between the ancient past and the near future, karmically held in the balance. Truly having, maybe I'll wait for that, karmically held in the balance. So what this means to me, 25, it starts to bring in the fear there. This to me starts to bring in the fear that even though we are we are in a very different experience now, we need to have freedom and joy and surrender, that there is some fear there that's going on, and that we feel like we're in a strange and unknown place, and like we're between two worlds. We're not where we once were, but we're also not yet where we want to be entirely either, which will come next year. Next year is where we're going to be solid in a new world where we want to be. Okay, that's going on. That feels really, really hard. That's going on, right? And sorry, on this note, I'll give you another thought. Speaking of the mouse and the lion, we need to stop thinking about the past, right? Do you see this? We're stuck between two worlds, and we got the Mars and Cancer. Stop thinking about the past. It's about the future, you know. And part of the problem is not only that we're acting like a mouse, small, meek, when we need to be acting big. Hear me roar. I'm here. I'm going to do this. This is what I want. Who cares? But part of the problem too is that we keep romanticizing the past, or if not romanticizing the past, thinking about all the things that happened in the past. Forget it. Forget it. You can't go back and change that. The only way you can change the past is by moving on here. And so I think that there's also a thought here of like, part of the problem is that we're stuck too much in the past, and we need to love the future more than the past and what we're trying to create here that's going on, and well, the present, which is going to get us there, and of course the future, and instead of all of that. Okay, it reads on. It says, truly having nothing to do until waiting is fulfilled. Okay, now this is where we get into a weird waiting thing with the Mars in Cancer now that's going on. I explained earlier in this video that I don't think that the Mars and Cancer are about to go retrograde with the full moon in Aries conjunct Chiron is about waiting. I don't think it is. I think it's about making mistakes, doing things, making mistakes, because we're being the mouse and thinking too much about the past, and then learning from that and moving on here. I don't really think it's about that, but I don't think that waiting is going to be too terrible if we do it, you know, even though you might miss out on learning some things here. But I think the way that I interpret this waiting is waiting until we've played out our dramas, you know. And I don't see the waiting as a passive thing. I think the way I interpret waiting in this inside degree is not like, don't do anything until the drama passes. It's like we're waiting until our actions get smoother, get better, get bigger. It's like that's the waiting. It's not waiting by doing nothing. It's waiting until we can kind of figure out the action component and get the action more smooth. That's going on. That's the way that I see it, especially too because the inside degrees are made for the degrees. They aren't made based on the transits, right? Like this Aries 25, Mars could be anywhere, you know. So I think that's the way that I interpret it here. But again, if your intuition is telling you, you know, you need more time, sure. I mean, you can wait if you want to, but I don't think that's going to be terribly bad. But I lean way more towards doing and making mistakes and waiting until you're not making mistakes anymore, right? It's like waiting until the mistakes from the action have played themselves out. That's where I'm leaning towards, okay? Here it reads on. It says, because where there is nothing to do, mischief and mayhem proliferate, right? When idle minds, when you're not doing anything, you start to get crazy. You participate in karmic scenarios, elaborate dramatizations, variations on the theme of nobody home and nothing happening yet, supremely restless while deeply restful. If there should come a time when all the signals flare off and give the go-ahead, your stored up power and resources should prove to be absolutely incredible. Okay. So this is another reason why I'm not into the doing nothing, because by you doing nothing, you're going to make yourself more upset. By you doing nothing and just like, oh, I'm just going to wait until maybe things get better, you're going to feel more upset, because then you're going to start thinking, well, this needs to happen and this isn't happening and that could have happened. And you're just going to continue to feel bad about yourself because you're not making anything, you're not improving your life in any way. So I think it's really the action here that needs to happen. And this line here that says, if there should come a time when all signal flares goes off, that your resources should prove to be absolutely incredible. What this means to me is that when we actually do figure out the action and get it going in a more smooth way that's more bold, we're going to be unstoppable next year. Totally believe that. July of next year, which Jupiter and Can't love it. Okay, but until then, we got to wear off the awkwardness and the mouseness of it and move forward. Okay. Okay, from way back when to the promised time, you feel a projectile of intent to hold on no matter what. Yeah. Okay, so I think that's how I feel there. Okay. We got to stop playing small and being scared and holding ourselves back and doing what other people want and start doing what we want and what's in our best interest and what's going to move us forward. And that's really what needs to happen here. And I think the best way to overcome that is not by doing nothing. It's by trying and failing and trying and failing and trying and failing until you get it right. Because that's how you learn how to do something, by doing it. Okay. Now I'm going to pull your card. Your card here is the Four of Wands reversed. The Four of Wands is a lot about celebration, success, reaching a milestone moment, but I pulled it reversed. So this means we're not feeling successful. We're not feeling worthy of celebration. Even though we have, I think, made some significant shifts in our life, which can feel big, I think we're still not feeling successful for doing that. You know, it's like we made some shifts in our life, but I still don't feel good about it. I still don't feel successful. I still don't feel like I'm anywhere here that's going on. We've got the Knight of Wands at the bottom of the deck reversed. You know, the Knight of Wands is about action, but it's also reversed. Us not feeling it. We're not feeling it super action oriented, and we're not feeling super passionate. So I think there's a lot of that. I maybe arranged some things the past few weeks, but I don't really feel like, and it was significant, but I don't really feel like it was that great. That got me a better place, and I don't really feel like doing anything because of all that. And I think my thought here, right, is like, you gotta, it's doing, I really do believe doing is the cure. Doing is the cure. Doing is going to help you want to do more, you know? What my mom has a silly phrase she always used to say. She's like, objects in motion stay in motion, which she used to tell me when I was a kid to like get me outside and stuff. But, you know, I think that's the thing. It's like, if you want to make things happen in your lives, you have to make things happen in your life, you know, in order to get better here, in order to really fix it. And the more you do, the more easier it's going to get, the more excited you're going to go. Not only that, but again, the Four of Wands can be a joyful card. I know I pulled it reversed, but that to me is also more of an indicator that joy needs to lead the way. Stop thinking about what you have to do, what you want to do, what's going to happen, all of that. Follow your joy, follow your passion, follow the first thing that lights you up and excites you, and just focus on that here that's going on. And then when that starts to get scary, focus on the next thing that excites you, because I really do think that that's going to be what you need. So I think that's all I'm going to say here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. If you like this video, please like it on YouTube, subscribe to my channel, and stay tuned for the next video on the new moon in Scorpio 2 weeks from now. Thanks. Have a good one.